Scandalous. I have like 9 poems that are titled Untitled. I didn't even have the courtesy to be like Untitled number 1, Untitled number 2. I'm like, it's the I've loosely taken pills because they looked and made me feel like candy. Like things weren't even real. Like those times I was holding knives to my wrist like I wanted to cut them as if there were reasons for these feelings or all these misunderstandings that bring ceilings to the floor. Like bringing cells out of my dreams like they were being torn right through my eyes, where my own face describes through the disguises of bitter expressions. Now you might not think it to look at me, but I've seen mirrors before. And in the push of looking back, only the floors were able to catch me. And those hands that dropped the weapons, like, oh shit. Well, okay, I can't, okay. I'm thinking maybe just because, I'm not gonna do the poem. Because I've been drinking for a while and I'm looking and I'm thinking I'm gonna read something because I can see it and I'm looking at it and they're all moving around. All those letters and those words. So, I'm gonna do a poem that I memorized because I've done it drunk before. I'm sorry I'm taking more time than I should, but I forgot my place in the days that closed me in on both sides. Where sun rays, they creased like shirts, and our reflections came with blueprints that could be seen in our signatures and heard in our honesty or frailty. It never completely shatters because there's a solid strength to the quiet and lonely. It's those distant wallflowers towering over themselves and speaking in tones that go on and over our heads, but just listening is like I've spread myself too thin, thinly walking at tiptoe paces, trying to retrace those parts of myself that never used to pause before they leaped. Instead, ideas, they'd seep into my thoughts that are now covering my good intentions until I became just another name and email address on a long list of those people who are wanting but not doing something more, because on the shores of the leaf, we barely let our toes touch the water. Like squatters, we hide until it's ours, forcing those busy hours to climb clock towers, firing at the dots to make spots of actual lives that have left stains on the days they've lived. But because of the life that I've lived, I wanted to become my own confession, because my life's been this obsession that I've lived, and it's like those words, they tie me down from the things I need to say, and in the midst of this morning, I can barely see rainbows through my clouded eyes and crowded expressions, but I can still stand longer than you can run. And I can run faster scared than you can mad, and I know that doesn't technically make a whole lot of sense, but it does to me, so give this to me, let me take this, let me feel this fear, and slit every wrist in this room until swimming becomes the way we do this, and through this maybe some of you will come back with your own posters tacked on walls in the kind of places where all the blood in the world only made us the same color, and favors will reflect on all those fingerprints we willingly wash from our bodies, and in sorrow we might borrow enough energy and strength to keep these days moving on into that magic realm of what comes next. And those fructifying those and those hopifying those, because sometimes it feels like the lucky, they're all being kept another time in another place where it feels like they're all catching us on time, and saying the right thing happens in the right time, and it happens without even trying, because sometimes it feels like I'm up against the world and my bare hands are being scraped every time I wave or shake hands, but I still want to say hi to you although I'm bleeding. I'm losing myself right here in front of you, and I'm dying to have the last words I speak be breathed into a room that actually wants to hear something more.